No shit. Look at what I found. So hopefully you could kind of get a sense of the slope here that we're descending down. Oh, we might have a problem. I literally need to just step off, and I am nervous because I can't see the bottom. And I need to share a word of warning with you later on in this video before I end it, because there's an extreme likelihood that I would have been putting my life in danger. Already starting off with coal. These tracks right here are part of an abandoned railroad that I documented last year. And this was the ending point, but I came back for a reason. I'm back because down there is something that goes underneath these tracks. If you want to find out what it is, all you need to do is come along with me. Before we do head down there to investigate what's beneath the tracks, I do want to kind of catch up to speed. So where we're at right now is a tractor trailer turnaround point, because up that way is basically a steep mountain and they have a chance to turn around before ascending up there. The road that this connects to right out there is Suskin Road. And this patch line right here, well, the rails would have continued right on top of there. I believe this road wasn't here, this turnaround point, when the rails were active. So it would have been probably land coming straight across and meeting up with the grade of tracks, which is just behind the trees here. So just imagine land continuing right here, rails on top. And on top of there, when it crossed over Suskin Road, it split. There's two different branches. Now the right one, I'm not too familiar with as to where it goes, but the left one, I definitely know where it goes because we traced it from its origins. So if you were to follow it, the line going off to the left up here, it will take you through the Grimes Industrial Park. Once you follow through there, it'll take you across the Pennsylvania Turnpike, by the old GoEx powder mill, and finally in front of the Wilkes-Barre-Scranton International Airport. From there, well, I learned some things recently about a really long bridge that used to exist up until around 1939 or so. And actually found that by investigating bridge abutments for the old Laurel Line trolley system. That video just came out. If you haven't seen it, you'll find it linked down below. But these tracks basically go to a congregation area in front of the airport where there was a small yard and different lines were operating at different times throughout that area. Now the railroad that operated on these lines was the Wilkes-Barre and Eastern Railroad. That name may sound familiar if you haven't watched my previous videos, including the one I talked about most recently, including the Laurel Line, because we traced that by the airport, discovering something brand new for the very first time. So it came through here, branched off in both directions, came to one single line going in this direction. And going in this direction, even though the tracks do continue, they're not there past a certain point because they built an industrial park there off of Commerce Boulevard, which is where like the Lowe's distribution center is. That industrial center basically ripped up and removed any existing tracks beyond a few hundred yards in this direction. But that line, Wilkes-Barre and Eastern, was a subsidiary of the New York, Susquehanna, and Western Railroad. So that's who operated back here back in the day. Although I know where one line goes, the other one I don't. And I don't think I could trace that ever because it is on private property. So one thing we could do is just trace it on the maps for our own curiosity. But although we have covered the lines, when I came here though, where we stopped here, which I'm going to show you what I found, there's something down below. And that could give you good insight as to what we're talking about. There's a reason I'm wearing my sandals and prepared to get wet because, well, you'll see in just a few moments. But let's head back up there, take a little bit walk down the tracks, show you what's there, and then we're going to head down the embankment to check out something beneath the tracks. Now these tracks are in remarkably good condition. Everything's still clearly evident. Actually, I'm noticing spikes are removed. Let's see, maybe we could find a date here too. Okay, so with the help of my flashlight, I do have some stampings here. So I do see BSCO, which is Bethlehem Steel Company, Lackawanna, which is the Lackawanna Steel Plant. And let's see, 1923 right there. So that's our confirmation. Tally marks 10, 11, 12. So December 1923. Now, in case you're curious, that little patch of land around the turnaround spot, there's nothing up there that I found when I returned last time. The rails have been removed. In the industrial park, a lot of the rails are still intact as well. Now, you may notice the width here. We got tracks here, ties out to here, but no tracks. You may be wondering why. Well, that's because the switch was right around here. So they came back in this direction, and if they want to branch off to the right, they'd have to clear the switch, and it would start clearing off, venturing off to the right-hand side. As we said, there is a split. Left side is Grimes Industrial Park, right side goes off in the other direction. So the switch was somewhere back here. That explains why we do see some ties in different places and how the ground is kind of spread out back here. But there are some ruins to something. On the left-hand side here is a concrete wall, and then there's some stone walls behind it. Based on the proximity to the tracks, I'd say it's a pretty good assumption, though, that this had something to do with the railroad, specifically the locomotives. Could have been a coal station here, where they could have loaded coal for locomotives. Could have been a small maintenance shop. Could have been a lot of things. But I don't think it's anything that was serviced by the trains. I think it was something to maybe service the trains themselves, just based on how close it is. And like I said, beyond this wall is an older wall right there. So it's going back a number of years. And like I said, the tracks, as much as I'd love to keep following them, we will hit a stopping point if we do continue. I'm not even going to bother continuing because it's extremely overgrown, and less than a couple hundred yards away, we're going to hit not only a stopping point of the tracks where they're cut or buried. I think they're cut and removed, but we're also going to hit private property of the industrial park back there. So we're not going to continue, but oh, hey, hang on. I just spotted something. No shit. Look at what I found. Another set of tracks. Huh. There's a jumble of ties here. Tracks pretty much end right there. They didn't continue. This looks like maybe it was a holding line. Oh, look at this. This big pin. I had no clue this existed. And on top of that, there is a lot of old ties back here. This whole area is all railroad ties. It almost looks like a old structure right there, but that's someone's private residence, so I don't want to continue. But this is completely new to me. Okay, curiosity's getting to me. We're gonna go a little bit further. Now I am really intrigued because I just was out of eyesight of these last time. Wondering, actually, okay. Maybe another piece of the puzzle, maybe just a whole nother direction we're going. So here's the main set of tracks right here. The new set we found right here. You can see how close they are to each other. But these ones are curving over. Looks like they would have met up with this line up here. And here's where they officially end. Spikes and plates still in place. Rails are ripped up and removed here. I'm trying to see what's back here a little bit further. Okay, everything's completely gone. Industrial park is basically through there, through that clearing. We know the rails no longer exist, but Now I'm even more intrigued as to this little tiny line that we found here. Based on the direction it's going, curving towards that line, I would think there would be a switch somewhere back here that it came off of. But this is not a long section of track. It looks like it stops right where we saw it. So what was it used for? Was it another branch line back in the day? Or was it maybe just a little holding line to put either a locomotive or a couple rail cars on? If you guys happen to know, especially some of you who really have knowledge on the railroad history here in Pennsylvania, by all means, would love to hear your thoughts and input. But for the first time ever, we discovered another section of lines back here, only knowing about this one. So pretty happy about that. But obviously the landscape could have been transformed over the many decades. So, excuse me. So there's nothing saying that these lines couldn't have continued. But based on how it looks today, they would not have. Okay, I'm going to take a couple screenshots here using the Rail Guide app, showing you my position. Now this shows up as inactive tracks for, I believe it's RJ Corman, who still services the Grimes Industrial Park, which is, they operate under Luzerne, Susquehanna, subsidiary of RJ Corman, who now took over. So those tracks through the Grimes Industrial Park still show up on the map here, but they're dotted, which shows up as inactive. But when we switch to current classic, okay, maybe this is going to give us more of an idea here. So that little tiny line that we found doesn't show up on here, which doesn't surprise me. Excuse me, but what does show up on here though is the split up here, which I was talking about. So the trains again would have came to around this area to clear the switch and then branched off over what is called Ridge Road, the turnaround for the tractor trailers, and then over Suskin Road. So we are confident about that. The switch was somewhere ahead of us, trains backed up and hit the switch, but they also could have continued in that direction. The little tiny siding there, not showing up as anything definitive, at least I could tell on here. So that is perplexing to me. We may not get the answer to that today. Regardless though, that's out of the way. That's not why we came. Just happened to be a little bit of a bonus discovery. We're now going to go back up here and start scaling down a really steep embankment and hopefully get away from the bugs and some cooler temperatures, because it is a hot, humid one once again here in Pennsylvania. So let me make a little bit of headway and we'll continue up there. I need to be very careful because I am wearing sandals, because I am planning on getting my feet wet. But there are some hazards here, both natural and man-made, but I'm also being vigilant for snakes. And something just ran over there. Now if you can see, the bugs are right in front of the camera, right around me. I did not bring bug spray. I didn't even consider it. But you can see a pile of ties right there that have been pushed over. And then we do have some items that were tossed here, some old bottles, cans. Looks like a Coleman cooler. Pretty neat area. There's a lot of rock faces and outcroppings continuing in this direction. And that four-legged friend that we saw was somewhere right around here. I don't know where he went. I'm guessing maybe it was a young deer. Spider webs. Gotta try to stay clear of those. Don't need them wrapped up in my head, which has happened about 10 times already this year. So hopefully you could kind of get a sense of the slope here that we're descending down. Okay, it actually looks like a little trail down here. Maybe a game trail. And you may start hearing the sound of water. It's actually really nice down here. So we just came down there. Here's the view. A lot of ferns down here. And like I said, a faint trail right through here, which I'm just curious to see if it actually leads to anything or not. I'm thinking probably a game trail. All right, this is more like it. This is my happy place right here. Now we have a nice little pool here. Just deep enough to wade in. Just below my knees. Water is on the cool side, but with how muggy it is today, it feels really, really good. So, kind of featureless up there. That trail does parallel the creek. But I see behind you guys what I came to return for. And looks like we're definitely gonna need a flashlight. I'm just gonna stand here for a moment, take in the environment. Let's just see and hear what I have right in front of me here. Before we continue, I need to rinse my head off. Okay, much better. Downstream a little bit further from that little wading pool. Just noticing some of the small ledges here with the rocks inching their way down to the water. Some big boulders here and there. And in just a moment, I'm going to be able to reveal to you, oh, almost lost my glasses, why we came here. Are you ready to see it? Hope so, because I'm ready to show it to you. Here it is. This is an old, pretty large stone culvert system that was built specifically for the rail line right on top that we were just documenting, both in my previous video and a little bit earlier today. Although the rail line is no longer in use, the culvert still is, still operating as it should. There's a little bit of a blockage right in front of it. I'm gonna get up there, investigate a little bit, give you a sense of scale, and then we're gonna proceed through it. See if we can find any date stamps, any markings. And there is a toad down here with me. Where's he at? There's a toad somewhere over here. I heard him croaking. Distraction, sorry about that. So let me do what I need to do, and then we're gonna see what it's like to walk through and come out the other end. So as I'm walking up to it, just take in the sense of scale here. Not humongous, but not small by any means. Oh, we might have a problem. It is deep. Deep enough that it's gonna get my waist wet. We may have to come up with a game plan. So you can probably tell a little bit, which I'll show you in closer detail. We have a big plug up here from where things just get washed down. But from here though, I don't see any dates, any markers. But most likely it was built by the NYS&W, New York, Susquehanna, and Western. Even though Wilkes-Barre and Eastern operated on it, they were a subsidiary of NYS&W. And I wouldn't be surprised if this is 1800s construction. I do see spiders and cave crickets. There is some gaps here where the, what do you want to call it? The filler has eroded away. It's created like open cavities. So the water is coming down here, and that blockage has it pretty much blocked solid. So it's kind of entering right down the left-hand side right here, going through and underneath the blockage here. That's how water's getting in there. But on the other side, there's a bit of a drop off. There's a little bit of a ledge on the left-hand side, but it's at least 3 to 4 feet deep. Not that that's deep water, but deep enough that I have to remove everything out of my pockets if we do proceed. I can see the other end, it's a straight shot. It doesn't change shape at all. And I actually do see rocks in the bottom about halfway through. So we only need to contend with this first 15 feet of potentially deep water. And after that, I think we'll be good to go. So I am prepared. Well, I should say I'm not prepared, but I'm willing to be prepared to go through there, which means I'm gonna take out everything that I have on me that could get ruined. I'm gonna get really wet. That's just the nature of the game here. But I came here for a reason. We're not gonna walk away without going through that. So behind this blockage is gonna be the most difficult part because I need to get over this blockage, and that's what we're dealing with. So there's the ledge, which I could possibly use to my advantage, but honestly, it's not gonna be easy at all because I have a shorter step here, a longer step on the other side. And then I truly don't know how deep it is. I'm guesstimating 3 to 4 feet. I was able to see the bottom. I did stir it up a little bit because I was walking through here, so it should clear up in just a few minutes. But as we look through, rocks halfway through, shallows out, comes out the other end, which I don't think we could go too far on the other side. There's either a road there or private property, but we'll at least be able to get to the end of it. So I'm gonna do my best. I'm gonna have you guys positioned out here. I'm gonna try to safely climb over this debris pile. I don't wanna do it with you guys in hand so I don't drop you guys in the water. I also did bring my waterproof camera too because maybe we'll get some underwater footage on our return back once the water clears up. Everything is officially out of me that could possibly get ruined. The only thing that's in my pocket, which I'll take out, is my flashlight. This could get wet. Oh, I got one more thing. Although it could get wet, I don't want to lose it. It's actually the cover to you guys. The only thing I can't get wet is my microphone. So as long as I don't fall in and get submerged, everything else up to here can't get wet. So let me put this over here and then we're gonna attempt to do this, which I'm having not the most confidence about it, but again, I'm here for a reason. So I'm gonna keep you, ow, stepped in something sharp. Ow, it's hurting. I had to clear my sandals out. Something sharp was in there. I'm gonna keep you guys rolling. I'm gonna do this live. I'm not gonna do any breaks or cuts. If I fall or something good or bad happens, you're gonna watch it as it happens in this moment. So wish me luck, guys. Okay, I got my foot on the ledge. I need to decide, do I want to lift my leg over or behind? I think I want to go over the front here. Now that I can't see the bottom, it's even a little bit creepier. Come on, work with me, legs. Not the most flexible here. If I fall because of this is going to be embarrassing. Okay. Come on, there we go. Whew. Not graceful by any means, I'll tell you that. Okay, I'm gonna set up my other camera here so you guys can see how deep it is, because I'm gonna walk out just a few feet and then get in the water. Then I'll know how to proceed from there. Just getting this turned on, ready to go. I'll show you via this camera, standing right on the ledge here of big blocks like these. So I'm gonna put the camera up here. I gotta find a stable place to put it. Obviously don't want it to just fall. I have a hard time finding it. This is stuff I usually cut out during editing, so bear with me. I'm trying to keep this raw and real, keep it authentic as possible. Okay, I think I got a good spot here. Okay. I don't really have any hold behind me. I literally need to just step off. And I am nervous because I can't see the bottom. There could be anything down there, even like a snapping turtle. That would not be good. So here I go. You're gonna see a camera on camera here. Oh boy, that is deep. Whew. Bojangles are underwater. Oh. Oh. There's big boulders underwater too, which I'm tripping over them. Okay, we're shallowing out. Okay, and that was, as I estimated, waist deep and sketchy. I couldn't see the bottom, only felt big, massive boulders. But we're inside, we're safe. I'm gonna come get you guys right now. And we're gonna proceed because it's not gonna do any good if you guys wait back there. Underwater camera I'm gonna leave up here. Hopefully this clears up. We're gonna be walking downstream, so any silt that I stirred up should flow down. When we come back up, hopefully it's cleared up. But it is unnerving to say the least. Now the hard part is how to get you guys without having to climb back over. I'm hoping I can maybe break off the stick and maybe lean you guys in towards me. But it's a decent depth here for a culvert entrance. Now how to get out of here. Ugh. Okay, that wasn't terrible. Like I said, raw and real, that's how we did it. Now I'm gonna safely cut it out here, get you guys on the other side, and we'll continue through. Welcome to the inner sanctum. Light at the end of the tunnel. I am standing waist deep right now. I want to show you what we just dealt with. So here's the debris pile. I have my camera, action camera's just resting there for when we get back. Make sure I don't forget that. So here's the big blockage, and this is where water is primarily coming through. And here's that ledge. So you can't even see my feet on the bottom. I have it so stirred up, but there's a ledge going around the whole entire thing. Not so much on that side. So the ledge terminates there, but it does go out a little bit here, and then that is pretty much it. Well, hopefully you can see what I'm dealing with. So if I get back to the deepest part, yeah, the Bojangles are underwater. It feels good though. Not dealing with the bugs right now, but I'm gonna start rapidly ascending because there's just big rocks and boulders, and the land is built up with material and debris from over the years. But tell you what, it's holding up really well. I feel comfortable being inside of here. You can see some of the rust here coming through. Couple cavities. I actually forgot to show you as we pass through. I gotta get back into the pool here. Ooh. So right here, there's one little cavity, bigger one right there. So, oh, there's a spider right there. So some of it is eroded away, some of it's still intact. There's more over here as well. This almost looks like limestone, and this was drilled and cut. You can see the drill markings right here. See the clear lines? I don't think this was blasted, but it's drilled and cut. I think they drill it and maybe use like wedges to break it apart. So now you can start to see the bottom a little bit here. And then we're pretty much only a few inches deep at this point. So definitely a flashlight is needed because trip hazards, you fall down, it's gonna hurt. You're gonna do some damage. It's actually part of a signpost right here, like a stop sign. It's just the post itself that would hold the sign. And again, more drill holes and notches. Some of these blocks also are sticking out pretty far, about 6 inches from the rest. I'm hoping to see maybe something that came through besides that signpost, like maybe some spikes, plates, J-hooks, something from the railroad directly above us. And that's another thing to consider. We are right now directly beneath that railroad. Going back a number of decades, there'll be trains passing over us right now. And in case you want to know what it's like without the flashlight, here it is. You do have light at both ends, but it's not enough to walk through here safely. I don't see any bats, no water snakes, no nothing, so just us, some insects, maybe a frog or two. Nearing the other side here, so far so good. Everything's going as expected. Unfortunately, not finding anything from the railroad days that did wash down here. But it is pretty awesome to know that we are underneath the railroad. But as I was walking through, I did think of something that just happened recently, just a few days ago, weather related. And I need to share a word of warning with you later on in this video before I end it, because if I was here in this culvert when that weather event happened, there's an extreme likelihood that I would have been putting my life in danger. So I will talk about that a little bit before the end, before we do wrap things up. But there, we don't need a flashlight anymore. And here we are. I almost kind of want to keep going a little bit. I thought this is going to come out to a road. I think the road is above us. And I don't think this is private property here. As long as we're in the creek bed, we are okay. But the landscape does look inviting. I wasn't planning on going farther, but we made it all this way. The area does look a little bit inviting, so I'm going to kind of weigh my options here, and maybe we'll press on a little bit further. All right, this is potentially slippery. It looks like there's a pathway coming down here too. And I'll also go look for a date stamping, but it's going to be kind of hard with the debris overhead. I don't want to slide off of here. Okay. It's a nice little ledge here. Pool of water. Okay, so all this bamboo didn't wash through the tunnel. Came over top. There's a lot of blocks here. They broke off from the top there. So there is some deterioration, not on the inside, but above it. I can see from what happened with the recent weather events that caused all this to happen. The blocks didn't fall recently, but this material did. Let me, again, I can't see how deep this pool is. I'm gonna try to go down a little bit further, see if it's worth getting you guys and doing it as well. It may fizzle out to nothing, but there are some neat carved out areas I do want to investigate. So just hang out a moment. I'll hopefully be right back, unless I don't kind of slide in here. And this is our view. Came all the way through that. And here's our debris pile that's falling from above. Let me back up a bit, give you a better visual. Not to be repetitive, but just to show you from a different angle. All these big blocks came from on top of there. So they broke off on the top, and all that bamboo and leaves and sticks and material washed off over there, right down here. So watch your footing. It is all stirred up, obviously, from us walking, so we can't see the bottom at all. And a lot of the rocks are slippery as heck. Little tiny cascading falls here. Another pool area, and then goes down. But again, more cavities. Water does reach this high. And if it ever got that high, I'd be underwater right now. So I don't think we're going to go any further. But looking though, this looks man-made. That is a hand-laid stone wall. Though they're too uniform not to be man-made. Is there something on the other side here? No, it's not even close to the same elevation. Wonder what that was built for. Yeah, that's more than a coincidence. Those are too uniform and even to be natural. They're placed there intentionally. Makes you wonder, maybe back in the day, it could have been a mill down here. Could have been a water wheel or a flume that was constructed. Who knows? So that culvert not only passed underneath the former railroad, but also an active roadway today. Oh, there's definitely fish in here. This scared a little one out. Oh! Just tripped over a rock. There's a worm right there. Yeah, it's kind of cloudy. I did unfortunately stir it up coming back to hit the camera. I do apologize. It's not the best, but showing you what I can. See some of the stonework here underwater. My feet are barely visible. Unfortunately, it's getting silted up way too quick. I didn't think I had to leave my camera somewhere further back so I don't have to walk through to stir it up. But you get the gist of it. I think you have a pretty good sense as to what it's like down here. It's nothing incredible. There's definitely some little tiny fish. And some big rocks. But that's pretty much all I can show you right now. Oh, the bugs are back. I do want to talk about something rather important, and it got me thinking that if I came here on a different day when I was planning on it, there may have been a much different outcome to this video. So when I do these adventures, specifically ones that involve water, going through culverts, snorkeling, anything that involves conditions like this, I obviously have to play according to Mother Nature. And as I've said through numerous videos this year, many of you from the area know that up until around the beginning of August, it's been extremely wet and rainy and just downright miserable from between April to around August. It hasn't been more of like a 3 or 4 day stretch of no rain. It's either been raining off and on, extremely hot and muggy, combination of both. It just hasn't been the greatest conditions for filming certain things. And the problem I kept running into is every time, you know, a few days would pass where, okay, I'm thinking it's clear enough to go do my video, it would rain again, make it murky, or raise up the water levels too high. So things have been kind of prolonged, longer than necessary for certain videos. Some I haven't even done yet, others I've done, but I plan on doing much earlier. But what I'm getting at though is that Mother Nature does play a big role in what I do film and how I go about filming it. So here, this is an innocent looking small creek flowing into a decent sized culvert, but you know, water's not moving fast, it's not deep, it is relatively clear and safe, and nothing really bad happened today. But a few days ago, it was a much different situation here. So today's a Friday, and the event that happened, I think was on a Tuesday, if I'm not mistaken. So last week, I planned on coming to film this, but plans didn't work out. I had other things to do. Time didn't work out. I didn't make it here. So I planned on coming, I think, Monday to film this. But checking the weather, they said there was about a 40% chance of rain in the afternoon. And I figured since I'm going into an environment with water, especially into a tunnel where water gets sent through, I don't want to risk it. I'll skip the day, do some editing instead. Well, wouldn't you know it, it didn't rain at all on Monday. So, plans on coming Tuesday. Tuesday, weather, well, there was a higher percent chance of rain, potentially heavy thunderstorms in the afternoon, 60% chance. And again, those could be hit and miss. And in the morning, it was nice and sunny out, partly cloudy skies. It seemed like a perfect day to go. And if you said, okay, I'm going to wait out a little bit longer just to make sure it's still good. Well, lo and behold, within an hour, it got dark, thunder came, lightning came, and it rained and rained and rained. It rained so much that the meteorologist said that we received an entire month's worth of rain in 1 hour. My area specifically, around Scranton, Wilkes-Barre area, we received just over 4 inches of rain in under 1 hour. That is a tremendous amount of water in a short amount of time, and it created flash flooding conditions in many areas. There are a lot of roads that got washed out, vehicles that got stranded, businesses flooded out, people's basements flooded. Thankfully, myself, everything with us is good. Some of our road did get eroded away, but it's not our responsibility to fix it, but we are able to be, get out of our property and no water in our basement, thank God. But with that amount of water in a short amount of time, this innocent looking creek would be a torrent, raging small river. And I can actually see some high water marks of debris. And I can guarantee that debris pile, water would have been shooting clear over that. It would be coming through here with tremendous force. And that amount of rain in that short amount of time would leave you minutes to spare to get to safety. So if I was in the middle of this and that rain came like it did, not only is the water level going to raise significantly, it's going to move incredibly fast, it's going to be dark and murky, it's also going to send debris down through there, including rocks, sticks, maybe metal, like that stop sign pole that probably got washed down there from high raging waters. So if that was to happen, being here by myself, which I choose to come by myself because I don't want to put anyone else in danger, I would have been at severe risk of something potentially dangerous happening, whether I would have wound up in the hospital or something more severe. And it would maybe even put a halt in my adventures for the foreseeable future. So I came really close to coming that day, and somebody just said, wait out a little bit longer. I'm glad I did, because that was like a record-breaking rainfall in a 1 hour time span. I guess the storm just came over us and just sat there, and it was like red on the radar. It was just raining so uncontrollably hard. And I've seen pictures of roads, vehicles flooded, businesses flooded. It was really, really bad. It hasn't been like that in a long time, for many, many years. So what I'm getting at is that when I do these adventures, I have to plan accordingly to Mother Nature. Obviously, you can see we have a nice day here today. The chance of rain is under 20%, and it's hard to find a day that has 0% chance of rain. But it's just coincidental, though, that we went through roughly 10 to 12 days of no rain earlier in August. And I had other things to film. That would have been a perfect time to come here. I just was trying to get caught up on things. And the one time I was going to come, we get hit with a record-breaking rainfall. So it really just threw a damper in things, threw a wrench in my plans. But here today, the waters have receded. Things are much more safer. And although I had to adapt to the situation of that debris pile and the pool of water behind it, everything went according to plan. So all I'm getting at is that if you do want to do these adventures yourself, if this looks fun and inviting, which it really is, please use common sense. Don't put yourself at risk. Try to go with someone, or at least have experience with someone that's doing it. Although I'm not an expert, I've been doing this long enough that I know what I'm doing. I know what to look out for. I stay well within my comfort levels, and I don't do anything that's going to potentially cause me to get injured or hurt. So with that being said, if you don't want to put yourself in risk or harm, just watch my videos. That's why I do them. I enjoy doing them. I have a lot of fun. Otherwise, I wouldn't be putting myself through these situations, getting myself wet for nothing. I do it because I love it, and I love to be able to bring you along as well. So with that PSA out of the way, just be safe if you go do it. Don't go when there's a high chance of water. Don't go when there's a high chance of rain that could potentially raise the water and make a harmless environment dangerous. With that being said, I am extremely pleased with how today went, knowing that we found this during an earlier last year adventure documenting an old branch line of the railroad. Today, we found a bonus section of railroad tracks and now know what this is like. We know it's good size, it's holding up quite well. Other sides in worse condition than this one, but still serving its purpose when it was built over 100 years ago. And that's pretty awesome. So I was glad to go through it, take you along. And the only thing that I wish I did differently is I left the action camera further in the tunnel. That didn't have to walk back up through the water and silt it up to get you some underwater footage. Not that there's anything great to see, but I figured it'd be a decent look to show you what I was kind of wading through. Other than that though, the final thing I want to say before I have to climb out of here, which won't be fun, and I said it before, I'll say it again, is that I can't put into words how much it means to me that you guys, the viewers, take time out of your day to watch my videos. I know there's tons of competition on YouTube. There's all different types of things to watch. There's even other things to do in everyday life besides watch YouTube. But the fact that you take time out of your schedule to watch my videos, to come along on my adventures, means the world to me. I really can't express it into words other than just to simply say thank you so very much. I appreciate it immensely. Because if you guys weren't watching, well, I'd still be doing these adventures, but it wouldn't give me a reason to do them on video. And doing them on video allows me to bring you along and feel like you're here with me. So you guys being part of it is kind of like the icing on the cake. Whether you like culvert adventures like this, or e-bike trail adventures, or abandoned rails, abandoned mines, snorkeling, Google Maps finds, whatever it is, I always do my best to try to not only give you more than you're expecting, but to make it fun and entertaining, and when permissible, educational and informative. So at the very least, you may, well, I should say, possibly you may learn something out of my videos, but at the very least, you should have a fun, entertaining time coming along, seeing what I'm getting into, whether it's going through the bike on a random trail, documenting rail trail sections, snorkeling, going through culverts. But this location definitely matched up two of my many favorite things. That's water and rail history. So it's a win-win in my book. Hopefully you feel the same, and look forward to hearing your thoughts on this adventure alone. And hopefully that you tune in for my next one, because my camera just tilted. You never know what I'll be getting into next. I do have other adventures like this planned, but the summer is wrapping up quickly. So time is against me, but that means come fall and winter, I'll be shifting into different types of adventures, things that you maybe haven't seen in a while. So anyways, if you want to see more videos just like this one, check the playlist down below, and don't forget to check the video links for when I traced this line to here, and for that Laurel Line adventure where the Wilkes-Barre and Eastern crossed over on a humongous bridge that I never knew existed. You'll find those down below as well. Otherwise, take care, stay safe, and as always, I'll see you in the next video.